This is KUGAN CASSIUS IFLTV in association with Macklins in Marbella. We're at the National Football Museum here in Manchester. Well, look behind you, there's some absolute great legends of the game.
Looking behind me,
I don't know who that is.
I can see a very young looking Mr. Beckham, very young looking. Very pleased tonight, Liverpool have gone through, so I'm happy, even though I'm in Manchester. I should have been at Anfield, but we had a good night here doing the fans forum, which was fabulous. It was great to get some of the fight fans, asking questions to the boxers and Eddie, and it was great. It was really good. We'll do that again.
Got the weigh-in tomorrow. We know there's going to be at least 5,000 people.
Six, I hear, plus. I think it's going to be the biggest weigh-in here in Britain, isn't it? I mean, Froch Grove's 2 weigh-in was pretty cool at Wembley. That was a great Friday, but I think see you, Dave. I think it's going to be a terrific atmosphere. I mean, hopefully enough will have got over from Ireland so to make it a sort of 50-50 affair, like I think it will be on the night. Barry McGuigan was saying that most are coming over on Saturday, but let's hope there's plenty of Irish there. It's going to be a lot of noise. It's going to be good.
Looking at those 3 press conferences, which you said earlier on seemed like such a long time ago,
Yeah.
and today's one, when you're looking at them press conferences, you struggle to see how this fight was ever made. When you've been in the middle of it, right in the middle of it. You've had team Frampton, to one side, team Quigg to the other side, and at one point, I think they forget the environment they're in, and they start back and forth at one and each other. And
I think they do, Quigg. I think that shows the raw, real feeling about this fight. They all want to win this so much, and they all believe that they've got the right guy. The Barry and Shane and Blaine and Jake and that crowd all believe that Carl Frampton wins and wins emphatically. And Eddie and Joe and all of Team Gallagher and Team Quigg believe the other side, that Scott wins and wins dramatically. I mean, it has been fascinating sitting in the middle. The media tour was terrific. It just snowballed, actually. It was quite quiet in London. Manchester was more interesting, and then Belfast was unbelievable. What an atmosphere that was. Which is why, if this is a great fight, I really want to do a rematch in Ireland. I really want to go there. I love the Irish fight fans, and I think that if this is a give and take, and both have got to go through crises and one comes through, I think we do it again, and I really want to do that.
Obviously today's press conference, the line that come out of it was all about this dressing room situation. Team Frampton, Barry McGuigan, etc. are saying that it's that serious to them that if Scott Quigg's given his way regarding the dressing room, they won't fight. Now, do you really believe it will come down to when we have a situation where we've got a threat of the fight not happening?
How many times in fight week do we have these sort of stories?
Mayweather might done a glove week.
Listen, we always get it. There's very few fights that don't actually happen. I mean, I was there when Diego Corrales and Jose Luis Castillo, after their epic first fight and that sort of strange second fight over the weight, the third fight didn't happen because Jose Luis Castillo was 5 pounds over the weight. Now, they pulled the fight at the last hour. Things like that can happen. I have no doubt that this fight goes ahead, 100% that this fight goes ahead on Saturday night. We saw some shenanigans on the day in Germany with Tyson Fury and the ring canvas and all that, and then the gloves on the night. These are all little ploys, these are all little stories. I think, listen, Scott Quigg wants to have the dressing room he feels is his. Carl Frampton and his team feel that they are the A side and they want the star dressing room.
No one's have it.
Comes down to a room. Let's be honest. It comes down to a fight, and it comes down to 2 great champions going in with each other in a fight that's taken 4 years to make, and 20,000 people are going to be in the Manchester Arena, and it was sold out in minutes, and everybody wants to see this fight. It's going to happen.
I might just plot myself on Saturday outside. I know where that dressing room is. I might just stand outside there before anyone gets there.
What, security, or just with a camera, or with a lock and key? What are you going to do?
With a camera and just see what happens. Eddie Hearn's saying that he's expecting more little
Do you think someone's in there already? I think they could only
I
access.
think Joe's in there already.
I think they could only access the building at 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. I think that's when it becomes sort of Matchroom and Cyclones for the next 2 days. So it'd be very interesting to see at 5:59 if anyone's outside that room.
Adam, I know I've asked you before, and you won't give me a prediction on this fight, which I understand. But let me tell you,
I will tell you this, KUGAN.
Yeah.
I've long thought that Carl Frampton would prevail over Scott Quigg. When this was first talked about, I thought Frampton was a far more advanced fighter. His pedigree, his skill set, his adaptability, and I think that Carl would have dealt with Scott Quigg back then. I think the momentum has changed. I think that Scott Quigg is a younger guy. He's had an amazing 18 months. I think what happened in Texas and what happened on the same night in Manchester has got a lot of people believing now that Scott Quigg can and maybe will win this fight. I think the build-up, both fighters have remained very calm, both look in amazing shape, but I think I've been particularly impressed with Scott in the build-up to this. And I think things have narrowed in my mind. But I still go back to the fact that Carl Frampton's the guy that I've always thought would win this fight. So I'd probably be silly to change my mind at this stage, even with what I've seen in the last few months. I also go back as well to people who are mentioning the Kiko Martinez, the great win for Scott Quigg, which it was, but it wasn't a good first round. And I wonder whether the extra class of Carl Frampton will come through this. Against that is he really struggling at the weight at 29? Is it a very, very difficult grind down to 8 stone 10? How will that affect him, especially down the stretch? Will it affect his punch resistance? Will it affect shots to the body? I don't know. It's a fascinating fight. I can't tell you the winner, but I want a great fight and I want to do it again. I want the rematch in Ireland. But I think I think Carl Frampton is a slight favourite going in.
Okay. Kind of answered that around the roundabout, but I understand. No, but listen, Saturday night, Manchester Arena, we can't predict the atmosphere. It's going to be unpredictable.
I think it's going to be amazing. I really do. I was there lucky enough at 2 o'clock in the morning when Ricky Hatton beat CASSIUS. An extraordinary night. I was ringside for Nassim Hamed beating Kevin Kelly in that absolute classic, that war in Madison Square Garden. I was there for Lewis Holyfield. I've been in some big fights, great atmospheres. Neville Brown actually was only a British middleweight champion, world title challenger, but some of the nights he had in Swaddling Coat, just in little arenas, were incredibly intense. Carl Froch beating Lucien Boutte, amazing atmosphere in Nottingham. Katie Taylor and Natasha Jonas at the Olympics, unbelievable. I think this is going to be right up there with it, and I think it's a 50-50 split, which might make it even better.
Not long to find out. Weighing tomorrow, and then Saturday night. Let's roll.
I think let's enjoy it. You know, every fight fan wants to see who's going to win this fight. None of us know. We can all make predictions. You know, 50% are going to get it right, 50% are going to get it wrong, unless there's a draw, of course. And you never know. We may have some controversy because that's.
I think that's what I think.
Well, that's what happens in boxing. But who's going to be smiling at the end? Is it going to be Barry? Is it going to be Eddie? How much respect is there going to be? I'm sure there'll be plenty of respect between the two fighters because I think deep down they really do respect each other. Interesting that everyone's saying Scott Quigg is the one that's determined, dedicated, lives his life. I think Carl Frampton does a pretty good job of that as well, and I think Carl Frampton wants to win this fight as much as Scott Quigg. Who will take defeat worse? That could be tough. That could be very, very tough after everything that's gone through. And I think if Scott Quigg loses, I think it will be very hard for him personally because it really is his life. Carl's got the family, he's got a slightly different attitude. So I think it would affect Scott worse if he loses. I hope there's no losers, if you know what I mean, in this fight. I hope we get a classic, one for the ages, and one to do again, and maybe even a trilogy. That's the sort of thing I want. I want to walk out of Manchester Arena on Saturday night thinking, wow, I'm so glad that got made.
Okay, Adam Smith, thank you very much for talking to IFLTV. We shall see you at the weigh-in tomorrow. 1 o'clock. If you've got a ticket for it, you're lucky. I'm not talking to you.
Well, no.
Have you got a ticket?
I hope so. I'll try. I'll get one if I haven't. I'll tell you what, I'm not staying at home.
Thank you very much, Adam Smith.